Sidetracked, AD. AD, or attention deficit disorder, is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects the prefrontal cortex of the brain. This is the part of the brain responsible for executive function, which includes things like decision-making, impulse control, and working memory. Research suggests that there is no single cause of ADD, but rather a combination of genetic and environmental factors that contribute to the disorder. For example, studies have shown that there is a strong genetic component to ADD, with up to 80% of cases being hereditary. However, the exact genes involved are still being researched. Environmental factors can also play a role in the development of ADD. For example, prenatal exposure to alcohol, tobacco, or other toxins has been linked to an increased risk of ADHD, which is a closely related disorder. Other factors that may contribute to the development of ADD include premature birth, low birth weight, and exposure to lead or other environmental toxins. It's important to note that ADD is not caused by poor parenting or a lack of discipline. While parenting strategies can certainly help manage the symptoms of ADD, the disorder is a real neurological condition that requires professional diagnosis and treatment. Treatment for ADD typically involves a combination of medication and behavioral therapy. Medications like stimulants and non-stimulants can help improve focus and reduce hyperactivity, while behavioral therapy can help individuals with ADD develop coping strategies and organizational skills. With the right treatment and support, many individuals with ADD are able to lead successful and fulfilling lives. Sophie had always felt like something was different about her. She struggled to stay focused in class and would often lose things or forget important details. But growing up, she didn't have a name for what she was feeling, and her family didn't either. As she got older, Sophie's struggles only got worse. She found it hard to keep a job or stay organized at home. It wasn't until she was in her 30s that she finally saw a doctor and was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, or ADD. For Sophie, the diagnosis was a relief. It finally gave her a name for what she had been feeling all these years. But for her family, it was a shock. They had never considered that there might be something different about Sophie, and they struggled to understand what ADD was and how it affected her. Sophie's husband, Tom, was supportive but didn't quite know how to help. He had always assumed that Sophie's forgetfulness was just a quirk of her personality, and it took some time for him to understand that it was a symptom of her condition. Her children, too, had trouble adjusting. They had grown up with a mom who was always a little scattered, and it was hard for them to reconcile that image with the diagnosis. But slowly, Sophie and her family began to learn more about ADD and how it affected her. They started to make small changes to accommodate her needs. Sophie began using a planner to keep track of her appointments and tasks. Tom started helping her break down big projects into smaller, more manageable steps. And the kids learned to be patient when Sophie needed extra reminders or support. Over time, things started to get easier. Sophie's diagnosis was a turning point for her and her family. It helped them understand that her struggles weren't a character flaw but a real condition that she needed help managing. And by working together, they found ways to help Sophie thrive despite her ADD. Tom created a song for her to help her structure her day. It went like this. Verse 1. There was a woman with ADD who couldn't structure her day. You see, she'd wake up late, feel lost and stray, didn't know how to make the most of her day. Chorus. But then she learned to structure her time, to keep her mind on track and in line. She planned her day with a steady hand, and now she's productive, just like she planned. Verse 2. She started each day with a routine, with set times for breakfast, and time to clean. She used a planner to map out her day, and set reminders to help her stay. Chorus. But then she learned to structure her time, to keep her mind on track and in line. She planned her day with a steady hand, and now she's productive, just like she planned. Bridge. It's not always easy, there are ups and downs, but she's learned to manage, to turn things around. With focus and discipline, she's reached her goals, and now she's in control. Chorus. But then she learned to structure her time, to keep her mind on track and in line. She planned her day with a steady hand, and now she's productive, just like she planned. Outro. So if you're struggling with ADD, just take it step by step, and you'll see, with structure and planning, you can be productive, just like me. With the help of her family, Sophie was able to make significant progress in managing her ADD. She found that using a planner to keep track of her tasks and appointments was incredibly helpful, as was breaking down larger projects into smaller, more manageable steps. Thanks to the support of her children and husband, Sophie was also able to establish a more consistent routine. This helped her stay focused and avoid getting distracted by other tasks or activities. Over time, Sophie became more organized and productive. She was able to hold down a job and take on more responsibilities at home without feeling overwhelmed or scattered. And while living with ADD continued to present its challenges, Sophie and her family were better equipped to handle them. Ultimately, Sophie's journey with ADD taught her that the disorder doesn't define her. With the right support and strategies, she was able to live a full and meaningful life, and to pursue her passions and goals without letting her condition hold her back. If you have or know someone you suspect to have ADD, ADHD, slide them this video. And if you think or know you have it, we hope this helps. Forward.